friends, it's Amy here with my buddy Remy again. With all this self-isolation, people have been trying to limit the amount that farriers and vets have to come out to their farm. So I thought it might be helpful to just run through a few basic health things for you so you can do a bit of an evaluation on your horse. Let me just say though, if there's a problem or you're worried about your horse's health, definitely call your vet. Like, don't take chances, call your vet. But if you do want to know some tricks and tools, just so you can decide, is this an emergency vet call or is this just a, hey, can you come out when you have time tomorrow call? That's good. Also, you know, if you have this information, you can also give that to the vet when you call, so you'll be able to actually tell them some of the signs and symptoms. The best thing you can do for your horse though is just to know them. So know their normal patterns, know their normal habits, how much they eat, how much they drink, so that you're going to be able to notice if something is off. But a few things you can check. One thing is the horse's temperature. So for that, we check our horse's temperatures rectally. You just stand there, Rems. So you want to make sure that your horse is comfortable having someone working around behind him. Make sure that he's comfortable, you know, having you handle his tail and be back here. What you want to do is just lubricate your thermometer and insert it into the rectum. It doesn't have to go a mile up there. You know, just stick it in about an inch is fine. If you have a digital, you can just hold it. It's pretty quick. If you have a mercury thermometer, then make sure that if you need to leave it for a couple of minutes, make sure that you put a little bit of string on there and maybe clip it to the tail hairs so that if it comes out, it's not going to shatter on the floor. And also, if you're a little nervous about working at the back of your horse like this, you just want to get them used to it in a time that's not an emergency moment. So do a little training, make sure he's comfortable, willing to let you lift his tail, willing to let you wash or take care of his dock area, so that when you need to, it's not a big deal. A horse's normal temperature is between 90 or 99 and 101 Fahrenheit. But if you forget that, don't worry, I forget all the time. Just ask Dr. Google, he knows. Another thing that you can check is your horse's pulse. The pulse is normally between 28 and 44 beats per minute. And the easiest place to check that, if you have a stethoscope, you can check it here and just listen. But if you don't have a stethoscope, you can find that pulse right in here under the horse's jaw. Yeah, there it is. So you can check in here. If you don't want to stand here for 60 seconds, you know, check for 30 seconds and double it, or check for 15 and then just times 4. It's a lot faster. You can also find that digital pulse down here sometimes, but it's a little bit trickier just on the inside here. It's a little bit trickier to find. So in a pinch, you know, practice finding it in here. And don't worry if you can't find it, your horse is not dead. You probably just need to practice finding that pulse. So that is temperature, heart rate, respirations. So if your horse is in pain or is uncomfortable, they're going to start to breathe more quickly and more shallowly. So that's actually a way, counting the respirations is a way that you can judge how your horse is feeling. And the best way to do that is just watch their belly here behind the rib cage. You're going to see it rise and fall with each breath. And because they breathe slowly, you know, do a 30-second count and then times 2. Horses' resting respirations could be anywhere between 10 and 24 respirations per minute. So anywhere in that kind of range, don't worry, especially if they've just come in for exercise or it's a hot day, it might be higher. But you want to worry about it if your horse is like double that, is noticeably like really breathing fast and shallow. That's a sure sign of a problem. And the last thing to check is on their mucous membranes. And that's just a good way to check for their oxygen saturation levels. So you can check it in the eye. Remy does not enjoy this. So we'll see if this is something we should work on probably so that we are able to do it. Yeah. So what you do is you just look at the inside of the eyelid. You want to see a nice healthy pink. That means that the blood has got a good number of red blood cells carrying oxygen in there. You can also check here in the mouth. So just have a look. Yeah, doesn't love it. Have a look and just see that you know, the tissues are nice and pink. If you get a white color or a gray color, then that could be a sign that your horse is not oxygenating properly, isn't breathing well, or maybe is going into shock. So that would be a definite call your vet moment. Also, just for daily checks, if you don't bring your horse and groom daily, like if your horse is just out in pasture, it's a great idea to go out with a couple treats once a day and just give your horse a once over. You know, run your hands down, check the legs, check for any heat and swelling, check for any problems, because anything that you can catch earlier is better. And like I said, if you're in doubt, call your vet. But here, those are just some ways for you to be able to judge if there's a problem and how serious it is. So stay healthy and have a good COVID-19.